What's going on, traders? We got a lot to discuss. We're going to talk about something crazy in this video. We're going to talk about the possibility of a bottom. All right. But before we get into that, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So right now in the Discord, I mean, this guy right here, he's new. He just joined 2K, made 2K. All right. He made 2K off Apple puts. Right. This guy right here made, I don't know, you do the math. I'm not going to do the math, but he's fairly new, right? Made another bag, all right? This guy right here, he's up 8,000 today. 8,000 today, okay? All right? You're going to see haters in the comments, but the proof is here, baby, all right? This guy right here, I mean, he's new, fairly new, right? This guy right here made 21,000 today. 21,000 off Apple puts. I made a whole video dedicated to Apple dropping. And you know what my Discord members did? They took initiative. They took a risk. They jumped into those puts, and they're making car money. Okay, they're able to get a whole new car if they want to. All right. I don't know what costs 21K these days, but still, I'm sure there's something out there. Maybe a used car. All right. You're moving. I mean, we can keep going, right? Just joined. Okay. This guy. He didn't just join. I mean, another bag. It just keeps going, guys. All right, it just keeps going. All right, this guy right here, $900 off Apple puts. All right, 185. Amazon puts made $400. I mean, we can keep going, people. We can keep going. This guy right here, he's up $3,000 within the past hour, whatever that hour was. I don't know. Let's keep it going. Apple puts. Again, I made a whole video on Apple dropping. My Discord members, I didn't even alert Apple. They just said, you know what, we're gonna take puts on this thing, and they did it. Guy made 11K off Apple puts. I mean, I can keep going. It's way more. It's way more. It's an absolute party in the Discord. All right, you're missing out. Discord link is in the description below. Let's get into it. All right. So the possibility of a bottom, I think, is near. All right. I'm not saying it's the ultimate bottom. I'm not saying it's the bottom of all bottoms, but I think a short-term bottom is near. Hear me out. Walk with me. Talk with me. All right. NQ, you're looking at the daily time frame. What do you see? What do you see? You see a falling wedge pattern. One of my favorite patterns. Falling wedges, rising wedges. Some of my favorite patterns. You know why they're some of my favorite patterns? Because they're easy to predict. So easy to predict. Right now, NQ looks like it's heading towards 18,500. Lowest it could potentially go is 18,400, which is at the bottom of this falling wedge. This is a bullish sign. Absolute bullish sign. Not only that, hear me out. Walk with me, talk with me. All right. I know you see it. I know you see it. If you've been on this channel for this long, you see it. Boom. Boom. Buyers are here. Buyers are here. You got a massive bullish wick here as well. Buyers are definitely here, right? You see buyers here in this area between 18,000, we'll say 18,600, 18,400. We might get a bounce on the NQ. Again, we're also near the bottom of this falling wedge pattern. It doesn't have to play out. I'm not saying it has to play out. All right, I'm not saying we hit the bottom of this falling wedge and immediately bounce. We want confirmation. We want to respect the levels, but it's looking good so far. But you know, in case you need more, right? You need more. You need more. All right, I got you. I got you. All right, ES. We look at the weekly time frame on the ES. What do you see? You see greatness. All right, you see happiness. You see joy. You see Diddy going back to prison for another 10 years. All right, you're seeing absolute greatness so far. Buyers are here. Buyers are here. By here, what do I mean? 5,400. You need to see the ES hold 5,400. All right, 5,400. Again, buyers are here. You got this massive bullish wick here as well. 5,400. Your next target on ES. That is what you want to pay attention to for potential upside. We can keep going though. SPY. In my last video, I told you guys SPY can head as low as the 530s. Crazy enough, we're at 537 so far. All right, market's still open, by the way. Market's still open. I had to make this video early. 537. What do you see? We're at the bottom, or we're heading to the bottom of this falling wedge. Like I said in the last video, who would have known? Who would have known? That's crazy, right? But, you know, we're heading towards the bottom of this falling wedge. I told you guys there is nothing but darkness, depression, and Diddy down here. And we're heading there. We're heading there. It's looking great so far. It's looking absolutely amazing. I told you guys. Also, quant data. Institutions were in 535 puts, right? I gave you all the keys. I gave you all the cheat codes. That SPY was going to continue to drop towards the downside. Boom. We're looking at 535, between 535, 534. Lowest we could potentially go is 530 on the SPY. All right. It's looking really good. This is a 4-hour time frame. Got plenty of space towards the downside, towards 530. Very much possible. So just to make things clear, because there's going to be that one person, right? To make things clear, I think we're going to see a little bit more downside, but I think downside is limited. Okay? Downside is limited. All right? Triple Qs. We're already there. We're already there for the triple Qs. Worst case scenario for the triple Qs is that you pretty much wick below this falling wedge pattern, right? And this is why I love falling wedge patterns, because they're so predictable. If you break below this, right, and this just so happens to trap bears, right, you just easily wick back up, and that's your confirmation that we're going back towards the upside, right? So you want to see if we just so happen to break below this falling wedge for whatever reason, right? Because NQ has more space to the downside, ES has more space to the downside, so on and so forth, right? If that does happen, our confirmation when it comes to the triple Qs is that we want to see a rollover effect. We want to see it roll back into the falling wedge pattern above 450 all over again, break, retest. That's our sign. That's our sign right there. Okay, that is absolutely a bullish sign. Okay, we'll see. Okay, we will see. But again, another falling wedge pattern. You're seeing these patterns form across the board, guys. The market is charging up. All right. Another thing. Tomorrow, Jerome Powell speaks. All right. Jerome Powell speaks. So we do have news tomorrow at 11:25 a.m. Eastern time. What a weird time to speak. But Jerome Powell does speak. What we are waiting on here is to see how the Fed is going to react to Donald Trump's tariffs, or if they're even going to address it, and how that can affect the market, how that can affect the economy, interest rates, whatever, rate cuts, all that fun stuff. That is what we're waiting to see. All right. We got the bad news already. Okay. We already got the bad news. We know who's getting tariffed. We know how much they're getting tariffed. That's what I was waiting on. Okay. That's exactly what I was waiting on. That's what I was telling you guys over and over, to wait on that news. Wait to see what Donald Trump says. Now tomorrow we wait on Papa Powell to speak and see what he says. We already know. All right. So what do I tell you guys about the market and uncertainty? The market does not like uncertainty. We don't have uncertainty anymore, people, when it comes to tariffs. We know what's happening now. The market knows now. Okay. All we got to do now is see what Jerome Powell says tomorrow. Simple as that. Okay. I'm not saying it's going to be good. I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I don't know. I don't work for the guy, but it's very much possible that we could be looking at a short-term bottom. Also, I want you guys to pay attention to something heading into tomorrow. One thing I discuss on this channel, when a Fed member speaks, specifically Jerome Powell, I mean, I don't know why I'm talking about other Fed members, but when a Fed member speaks, right, before they speak, pay attention to the initial move. And while they speak, pay attention to the initial move. Usually, historically, the initial move, the first move, is the wrong move. What do I mean by that? So I'm going to map it out with you guys. All right. If Jerome Powell starts speaking, for whatever, Jerome Powell starts speaking, he started doing his little Dougie on the stage and all that fun stuff, right? And let's say the market is going up while he's speaking. Chances are the first move is the wrong move. And after he's done speaking, you might see one of these. Okay, it doesn't have to happen right away. Maybe it happens Monday. I don't know. But that's usually the case. Or you see the market tank while he's speaking, or even a little bit before he's speaking, right? That might be the wrong move. All right. It doesn't happen all the time, but majority of the times this happens. Okay, so that's what I want you to pay attention to. Usually, initially, typically the first move is the wrong move. I think we got the idea. All right. So triple Qs, it's looking good so far. You might be looking at a bottom soon. Okay, short-term bottom. All right. VIX, is about to hit 30. I talked about this in the Discord. I did not like where the VIX was. It broke this trend here. It retested this fair value gap. This fair value gap has yet to be mitigated, so I do imagine the VIX is going to want to clear this out. We'll see. But you have a gap all the way towards 23. Well, actually, it's towards 22. I imagine the VIX is going to want to fill that soon. All right. I don't know when. Semiconductor ETFs. All right. Semiconductor ETFs. Where are they? SMH. What do you see? falling wedge pattern. You are breaking below the falling wedge pattern, but like I said, what you want to see happen here is a rollback into this pattern. Okay, you want to see a rollback effect. You roll back into here. I would say you mount and hold 202, break retest, boom, that's your sign. Okay, that's your sign right there. So we don't want to jump the gun. SOXX weekly time frame. All right, weekly time frame. SOXX is at the 200 MA. 200 MA. All right, historically, all right, it doesn't happen often, but more times than not, SOXX bounces off the 200 MA. All right, this time it went a little bit below it. This is the weekly time frame. About took like 3 weeks or so. Went below it, recovered, retested, boom, headed back towards the upside. Right here, you retested, you bounce. Here, you bounced off of it. Here, you bounced off of it. Okay. Do what you want with that info. But SOXX at the 200 MA weekly time frame, something to pay attention to. All right, Nvidia is currently below 103. Like I told you guys, if Nvidia stays below 103, you open up the floodgates to the low 90s. Low 90s. I don't have time to confirm this. I use my confirmations based on the 2-hour time frame. But what's important to note here, Discord members specifically, because you guys keep talking about this and asking should you short here, you have a reversal pattern right here. Okay, this is forming a reversal pattern. It's 4 minutes until market closes. Don't trust this. Okay, don't trust this. This is not something you should short. You do not short hammer patterns off a break of a support level or a resistance level, depending on direction you're trying to trade. Don't trust this. All right, I'm not saying it can't work. Okay, maybe you get lucky. Okay, maybe you do get lucky, but this is a reversal pattern. I don't like to see that off a break of a support or resistance. Okay, I'm just putting that out there. All right, but as long as Nvidia stays below 103, you do have potential to head much lower. You could be looking at 100. After 100, you're looking at 98, 97, and then from there, you're looking at about 95, 92. Again, you stay below 103, you open up the floodgates towards 90, the low 90s. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for Nvidia. Apple, I'm waiting on Apple. I'm waiting on Apple. I'm not gonna miss this time. Okay, I'm not gonna miss this time. All right, it got me here. Okay, it got me. It left me, and I don't mean I lost a trade or anything. I mean that I wanted to take a trade and it ended up leaving me. I made a whole video dedicated to this thing, and Discord members are making house money on this thing, and I'm just sitting here looking out the window, wishing I was one of them. Okay, so Apple 200 between 200 right now. Okay, so actually let me get rid of this. So between 200 and 196, 197, sorry, 197. All right, I think Apple is going to bounce soon. All right, I think majority of the move is done towards the downside, at least for now. All right, I think Apple is going to bounce soon. I will watch for a bounce off of this 200, 197 supply and demand zone. So something like this, it could bounce off the 200, 199, or it can just bounce off of 196, 197. I keep saying 196, 197, 200 range. All right, and then you're heading back towards this gap fill at around 216, 215 range. Okay, I think majority of this downside is done for Apple. All right, I could be wrong. Okay, that's the video. All right, actually, Bitcoin, I don't know. I don't know. That's all I got for Bitcoin. I don't know. All right, the thing is trash. I have no clue what it wants to do anymore. All right, so in conclusion, guys, all right, more downside is very much possible. We still have more space on the SPY when it comes to downside. We could be looking at a move towards 534, 530s. If we're talking about this falling wedge and heading towards the bottom of this falling wedge, if you're looking at the NQ, you're talking about 18,500, 18,400 before a potential, keyword potential bounce, right? IWM, I didn't go over IWM, but you are looking at a move towards 185. I definitely think that is possible heading into tomorrow. Let me look at the weekly time frame real quick. All right, IWM is weird, but ultimately you could be looking at a move towards 185. If you get below 187 on the IWM, you are very illiquid, like extremely illiquid. I don't think this is going to happen anytime soon. That would be crazy, but yeah, very illiquid. But yeah, triple Qs. I don't think I talked about levels on triple Qs. 449 is your key level here. I don't know why TradingView is doing that. 449 is your key level here on the triple Qs. You could be looking at a bounce from there. If you break and hold below 449, you are looking at a move towards 447. 447, and then after that you're looking at a move towards about 445, 440s. Okay, somewhere around that range. I haven't looked that far, but somewhere around that range. All right, but again, the bottom may be near. We are in earnings season. We are entering earnings season for the second quarter. It's very rare the market crashes during earnings season. Very rare. Okay, I just want to make that clear. So SPY has officially closed at 536.7. I made this clear last video that we're going to probably drop a lot more. We're probably going to head towards the low 530s, but it is important to note that if we look at quant data, you're seeing a lot of selling happening of positions. Today, we just witnessed institutions are selling their IWM puts here. They had a whole bunch of 183 puts. They just sold them, right? So we're seeing a lot of selling. Let me hold on, bear with me. All right, we're seeing a lot of selling happen. This guy right here, he sold his SPY 530 puts below the bid. Another SPY puts were sold here. Someone just loaded NVIDIA 102 puts for May 2nd. So yeah, NVIDIA is probably going to drop towards 100 heading into tomorrow. But yeah, all right, you're seeing a lot of selling happening on the when it comes to puts and even calls, but mostly you're seeing more puts than calls being sold so far. So it's going to be a roller coaster. Okay, it's going to be a roller coaster tomorrow. Wait to see what Jerome Powell says, but majority of the bad news, I do imagine, is behind us. Okay, for the short term. Okay, the market doesn't like uncertainty. We're kind of not uncertain anymore. We have an idea on what's going to happen with tariffs. We just need to see what the Fed is going to say. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. All right. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Discord link is in the description below. We are still on a winning streak so far. It's only going to get better from here. Until the next video, traders, have a good one.